Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 339 based on novel. So let's start. When Wang Lin's soul entered the heaven-defying bead and he saw the Lord of the Sealed Realm before he was sent into the Tao Realm, the Lord of the Sealed Realm said that the Sealed Realm formation was his final resting place. It was because of this that Wang Lin had some confidence in breaking the Sealed Realm formation. This was his other method, aside from borrowing the power of the divine retribution. The moment his divine sense spread out, the heaven-defying bead that had disappeared inside his origin soul suddenly appeared. The moment it appeared, a jade flew out from within and flew out of Wang Lin's body. The moment this jade appeared, the heavens trembled and shook. Even the 8 diagrams divine retribution shook. Inside the demon sect formation, the High Elder had his divine sense spread out. While he observed the divine retribution, he was also paying attention to Wang Lin, who was going through the divine retribution. When he saw the jade, the middle-aged man trembled for a moment. His eyes suddenly widened and revealed unbelievable shock. Sect Master's Jade. He actually has Sect Master's Jade. Could he be the inheritor designated by the Sect Master? The middle-aged man had cultivated for countless years and was rarely moved. However, right now he was in shock and his face was red from excitement. He didn't hesitate to step forward and break through the formation into the starry sky. Then he took another step, entered the spatial crack, and arrived in the void next to Sealed Realm formation. The moment he arrived, the light from the jade spread across the void and a giant tree that could support the world appeared. The appearance of the giant tree caused the void to tremble. The 8 diagram was shrouded by a mysterious force and stopped all movement. The giant tree was so large that it filled the void. An old face gradually appeared on it. Sect Master. The High Elder from the demon sect looked excitedly at the giant tree. His eyes were filled with extreme reverence. The moment the giant tree appeared, a huge uproar was set off in the rank 9 region. In the God sect, Daoist water originally had a hideous expression and was roaring constantly. However, at this moment, his body trembled and his face filled with fear. Master. There was also that 9-star ancient devil that was secretly devouring the power of the divine retribution, but at this instant, his expression changed. He looked into the distance and his expression became filled with uncertainty. Lord of the Sealed Realm. Among the stars, the heaven-breaking sect master was walking over, but at this moment, he stopped. His expression became serious as he looked ahead and began to ponder. In the void, the face that appeared on the tree revealed an ancient aura. He looked longingly at his surroundings before finally looking at the Sealed Realm formation. After a long time, he released a sigh and let out an ancient and exhausted voice. Mysterious, brilliant. The demon sect's High Elder trembled and seemed to return back to the past. Subordinate is here, he replied without hesitation. Use my Tao treasure to organize the Cloud Sea and gather all its strength to be ready for the war with the outer realm that will occur soon. Kill any who rebel. The demon sect's High Elder's body trembled and he looked up. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes as he shouted, "As you command. Under my order, after settling the Cloud Sea, go to the other 3 major star systems. Go find Master South Cloud, Master Red Shan, and Master War Celestial. Tell them that they can fulfill the agreement of the past. I want you to use your fastest speed to organize the 3 other major star systems. Unite the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning celestial realms into one to fight the great war that will start soon. As you command." The demon sect High Elder looked excited. The ancient face on the giant tree looked into the distance, and after a long time, he whispered, "Tao slave, if you can help the demon sect on this matter, this old man won't kill you." Inside the God sect's secret chamber, Daoist water trembled, and his forehead was covered in sweat. He knelt down and kowtowed on the ground. "Devil Master, you fled from the outer realm and I gave you the entire Ghost sect as your disciple to help you heal. Now you have recovered and have become a 9-star ancient devil. It is time to fulfill our agreement." The eyes of the ancient devil shadow outside the Ghost sect lit up, and after pondering for a bit, he nodded. He looked through the void at the outer realm, and a glint cold and hatred flashed in his eyes. After that, the human face on the giant Gree looked profoundly at Wang Lin and softly said, "Divine retribution is a calamity but also a fortune. Because of the rule of the ancient celestial realm, I can't tell you more. Take care of yourself. The divine retribution is not something from the ancient celestial realm. Even the celestial emperor has his divine retribution. Divine retribution comes from primal times, from when the world began, from the dead heavenly Tao. The divine retribution you face is only a small retribution, not a great one, nor the G retribution that can destroy all life." As he spoke, his eyes slowly collapsed and the giant tree collapsed, dissipating into the void. The jade turned into a crystal light and fell on the sealed realm formation. The sealed realm formation shined brightly and trembled. The treasured spirits appeared one by one as if resisting this light. However, the power within the jade was extremely strange. It slowly turned into countless green threads that spread across the giant formation before it gradually disappeared. The moment the green threads disappeared, the 8 diagrams that were frozen in the air roared and moved toward Wang Lin once more. Divine retribution is a calamity but also a fortune. Heaven's G divine retribution. G retribution. G realm. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he stared at the 8 diagrams. His eyes became even brighter. He seemed to have grasped something, but he wasn't sure. With your current cultivation level, don't bother comprehending the G realm. When you reach Nirvana Shatterer, maybe, you can comprehend it from the divine retribution. Qing Shui's words echoed in his ears. The 8 diagram wheel closed in on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression rapidly changed, and the moment the wheel closed in, Wang Lin's eyes revealed madness. He made a decision. "I'm giving it my all." Wang Lin gave up resisting as it closed in, and with a roar, it imprinted on Wang Lin. It immediately collapsed and turned into 8 runes that penetrated Wang Lin's skin and entered his veins. The 8 diagrams contained the heavens and earth, so they formed their own world. The moment they imprinted in Wang Lin's body, they turned into a powerful force that almost made Wang Lin's body collapse. He coughed out blood, and the 8 diagrams resonated with the 9 palaces to form an unimaginable seal. They began destroying Wang Lin's body like crazy from the inside. Fortunately, as an ancient god, his recovery speed was shocking. Under the attack of the 9 palaces and 8 diagrams, Wang Lin let out a ferocious roar. The veins in his body swelled up and he rapidly recovered. However, the 8 diagrams were extremely strange. They suddenly multiplied to 64 diagrams and continued to change. They then turned into 128 diagrams and then again until it was endless. Popping sounds echoed inside Wang Lin's body, and his 10,000-foot body was covered in diagrams. Blood sprayed out from every part of his body. Wang Lin had a ferocious expression as he looked up at the void into the vortex and roared, "A mere 9 places and 8 diagrams won't kill me. Is there a more powerful divine retribution?" As he roared, the vortex roared and 7 rays of light came out from within. The 7 lights were starlight. The starlight was bright, and the moment they rushed out of the vortex, they turned into 7 cultivation planets. They were real cultivation planets, unlike the 9 palaces, which were just meteorites. The 7 cultivation planets shined brightly, forming the Big Dipper. After the 9 palaces were the 8 diagrams, and after the 8 diagrams was the 7-star Big Dipper. The 7 stars, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, and Zeta. 7 stars. Infinite. The moment the vague voice came out, the 7 stars shined like crazy and penetrated the void. Their light penetrated the starry sky and the entire cloud sea, replacing all other starlight. It was as if all the starlight in the world had been absorbed by these 7 stars and formed a heaven-shaking killing intent. This was the 7-star killing intent, the Big Dipper slaughter might. The 7 stars were killing intent and the Big Dipper was slaughter. This was not a seal, it carried the intent to kill. As it approached, the 7 stars formed 7 trails as they shot at Wang Lin. They were like 7 slaughter swords charging at Wang Lin. At this moment, the vague voice echoed once more. 6 directions. Infinite. 8 desolate 6 direction. Together, this represented how desolate the universe was. There was no escaping from the 6 directions. Even if your body collapsed, your origin soul couldn't escape. This was a heaven-sealing formation, and after being surrounded, you could only fight. 6 giant tortoise shells appeared in all directions and charged at Wang Lin. However, after the 6 directions, that vague voice echoed once more. 5 elements. Infinite. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Although they somewhat overlapped with the 8 diagrams, they were completely different. The 5 elements were part of the world. If the 5 elements weren't present, the world would collapse. After the words echoed, 5 rays of light suddenly appeared and formed 5 giant palm prints. These 5 palm prints represented the 5 element. The metal palm print had the power to split the heavens. The moment it appeared, it gave off an indomitable power. The wood palm print was filled with life. It continued to change between life and death, forming an indescribable life and death power. The water and fire palm prints were 2 extremes that contained 2 opposite peaks. The monstrous waves and endless flames formed 2 giant palm prints that charged at Wang Lin. The last was the earth palm print. It was just like the earth and was extremely heavy. The moment it appeared, it gathered all the power of earth among the stars and gave off an indestructible aura. The 7 stars, 6 directions, and 5 elements fused together. This power could destroy everything. Wang Lin's face was pale, but his eyes became brighter and brighter. He vaguely grasped the words of the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Divine retribution was a calamity but also a fortune. 9 is the limit. There are 9 palaces, 8 diagrams, 7 stars, 6 directions, 5 elements, so there are surely 4, 3, and 2. I don't know what 4 and 3 are, but 2 is definitely yin and yang. From 9 to 2, after going through some phases of change, they will change into 1. Could the 1 of this retribution be G? Wang Lin's heart was pounding, but he wasn't sure. However, he had to fight and resist to the end to see if this was his long-desired G. He was unwilling to give up. Right now the 7 stars suddenly closed in, and the expression of the High Elder of the demon sect changed. Although the sect master didn't say anything about the person facing the divine retribution, from the sect master's final words and the jade, this person's relationship with the sect master couldn't be normal. His eyes lit up and he was about to step forth to help Wang Lin resist the 7-star calamity. Senior, you don't need to help. I'll resist this divine retribution myself. Wang Lin's voice echoed across the void. The demon sect's High Elder stopped for a moment, and the 7 stars closed in. The 7 stars descended with monstrous killing intent and 7 rays of light fell on Wang Lin. There was a thunderous rumble and he was covered in blood. His origin soul was trembling and he was pushed back. He was deathly pale afterward, but he began to laugh. The moment the 7 stars entered his body, it connected to the 8 diagram and formed an even more destructive aura to collapse his body. However, under this power, Wang Lin faintly felt the aura of the G realm. Wang Lin was extremely familiar with the G realm. It once accompanied him for several hundred years. When he felt that sliver of G, how could he not feel happy and laugh? Although he was seriously injured at this moment and his body almost had collapsed, he still laughed. He opened his arms and allowed the tortoise shells formed by the 6 directions to smash into his body. Thunderous rumbles echoed once more. His body was a bloody mess, but the place hiding Li Qianmai was completely safe. The body of an ancient god, especially that of a 6-star ancient god, was strong to an indescribable degree. Even after suffering such blows, he was still rapidly recovering. The shells formed by the 6 directions entered Wang Lin's body and linked together with the 7 stars, 8 diagrams, and 9 palaces. Wang Lin's origin soul exploded. However, he locked it inside his body and didn't allow it to dissipate. Wang Lin's eyes became lax but then became firm. He waved his right hand and a large amount of pills appeared. He devoured them to recover, then the 5-element palm prints arrived. The moment the palm prints arrived, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. He was waiting for this moment. He struggled to step forward, then he opened his mouth to devour the fire palm print. Fire of the heavens, enter my body and mold my origin soul. Wang Lin roared as he devoured the fire palm print. The endless fire swept through his body and swept his collapsed origin soul. Wang Lin's origin soul unexpectedly reformed under this fire, and fire essence began to appear. It formed a vortex inside his origin soul, absorbing the power of the fire palm print. At the same time, the metal, wood, water, and earth palm prints landed on Wang Lin's body. They left 4 clear marks and began to collapse inside his body. Fire and thunder of the 8 diagram, reinforce my body. As Wang Lin roared, the 8 diagram that entered his body appeared. The fire and thunder diagrams broke free and began resisting the palm print. After these 2 diagrams entered Wang Lin's body, he had hidden them. Now he had erupted them, and this caught the divine retribution off guard. With the ancient god recovery and the 2 diagrams, he was able to resist the collapse of the 5 element. He didn't die after taking the 9 palaces, 8 diagrams, 7 stars, 6 directions, and 5 element. Wang Lin wiped the blood from the corner of his lips and roared at the divine retribution vortex. Is there any more? For divines. Infinite. The vague voice filled with no emotion echoed across the world as if answering Wang Lin. As the voice echoed, the roars of beasts came from the vortex. An azure dragon slowly came out, and after that, a red vermilion bird let out a heaven-shaking cry. Killing intent spread out as a white tiger charged out roaring, and a black tortoise also stepped out. Divine retribution's 4 spirit. So it was the 4 divines. Vermilion bird, return. Wang Lin's eyes shined and he smiled as he pointed at the vermilion bird. The vermilion bird trembled and let out a cry. It broke free from the other 3 and charged at Wang Lin. It closed in an instant and surrounded Wang Lin, letting out excited roars. At the same time, a vermilion bird shadow appeared around Wang Lin's ancient god body. As they resonated, the vermilion bird flew into Wang Lin and fire shot into the void. After absorbing the fire from the 8 diagram and 5 elements, along with the vermilion bird, the fire inside Wang Lin had reached an incredible peak. The vermilion bird inside him had already awakened 3 times, and with each awakening, his understanding of fire increased greatly. The 3 awakenings had caused his comprehension of fire to reach an unimaginable realm, and also gave birth to essences. All fire spells had to yield before him. He could ignite the fire of anyone who cultivated fire spells, and he could kill them with the wave of his hand. After the essence was born, Wang Lin's control over fire had reached a limit, but this limit was only to corporeal fire. Fire was divided into 2. One was corporeal fire, which encompassed many different types of fire. The other was ethereal fire, which was far more elusive. Unless one had reached the limit of corporeal fire, it was impossible to grasp the realm of ethereal fire. Anger was a type of ethereal fire. It has no physical form, but it could surpass all fire in the world. It was a kind of Tao, a spirit, and also a domain. If Wang Lin could awaken the vermilion bird a 4th time and reach the realm of ethereal fire, then even if someone hadn't cultivated any fire spells, Wang Lin could ignite their anger. He could then burn them to death with the fire of anger. The strongest fire in the world was the fire of anger. Everyone had it, and it was invisible. If you couldn't withstand it, then you would without a doubt die. At this moment, after absorbing all the different fires from the divine retribution, Wang Lin would reach his 4th awakening. He only needed a bit more to break through the realm of corporeal fire and enter the realm of ethereal fire. The vermilion bird around him cried and entered his body. It nourished his body and repaired his origin soul, so Wang Lin had enough strength to resist the arrival of the other 3 spirit. However, the divine retribution wasn't over, and it was becoming stronger and stronger. At this moment, the vague voice echoed once. It was cold and ruthless, devoid of emotions. 3 talents. Infinite. 3 talents, heaven, earth, human. These corresponded to the sun, moon, and stars. The heavens was the sun, the earth was the moon, and the human was the stars. As the sound diffused, the void changed and became chaotic. The heavens had the power of the sun and emitted endless law of origin, the origin of everything. This power spread endlessly. The earth has the power of the moon, and it contained the opposite of the law of origin. The law of the end appeared in the void. The human had the power of the stars and entered chaos, forming a law Wang Lin had never seen before. It didn't belong to the law of origin or law of the end. The three forces turned into 3 rays of light and shot at Wang Lin. The power inside was unimaginable and could destroy everything. 2 rights. Infinite. The vague voice echoed once more. As the cold voice echoed, something else appeared in the void. 2 rights was the power of yin and yang, life and death. It was also the power of karma. Everything in the world was included in it. Heaven and earth gave birth to the 4 divines, and the 4 divines turned into 9 palaces. They also resonated with 3 talents to create a heaven-shaking power. They formed a giant yin and yang diagram in the void. The yin and yang diagram formed with Wang Lin as the center. It rotated like crazy, and a thunderous roar echoed as it rapidly shrank toward Wang Lin. At the same time, the 3 talents' light closed in on Wang Lin. This was not a power Wang Lin could resist. The heaven light pierced the spot between Wang Lin's eyebrows. The earth light pierced Wang Lin's chest. The human light split into 4 and pierced his limbs. At this moment, the yin and yang diagram clamped down on Wang Lin and covered his entire body. Thunderous rumbles echoed. Wang Lin's 6-star ancient god body couldn't withstand this destructive power. His body was a bloody mess, but Li Qianmai wasn't injured at all. This divine retribution only targeted Wang Lin and ignored everyone else. 1 retribution. Infinite retribution. Begin. When Wang Lin's body was about to collapse, the vague voice echoed once more. The void seemed to have been destroyed, and waves of light appeared out of nowhere. 9 palaces, 8 diagrams, 7 stars, 6 directions, 5 elements, 4 divines, 3 talents, 2 rights all appeared, and as they rotated around each other, an extreme heavenly force was born. This was Ji. Although Wang Lin was seriously injured, his Dao heart and domains were still there. Then a change suddenly occurred. In his body, the 9 palaces to 2 rights unexpectedly also appeared in his body like the divine retribution. Ji was also born inside his body. Infinite divine retribution began. The 9 palaces turned into 9 meteorites and formed a pattern. The 8 diagrams flashed inside and rotated. Inside the 8 diagrams were the 7 stars, releasing a shocking pressure. Inside 7 stars were the 6-direction tortoise shells, and even deeper were the 5 elements, flowing. Inside the 5 elements were the 4 divines roaring. Every time the 4 divines made a turn, the outside would turn as well. Deep within the 4 divines was the monstrous 3 talents light that lit up the void. At the center of the 3 talents, the 2 rights appeared. The 2 right were yin and yang, forming a diagram that slowly turned. This caused all the outer layers to rotate as well. They rotated faster and faster until they were impossible to see clearly. What was bizarre was that all 8 layers of the divine retribution were rotating at different speeds. From the 2 rights to the 9 palaces, the 8 different kinds of retribution formed 8 vortexes that rotated at a different speeds, and they fused together. As the thunderous rumbles echoed inside the rotating yin and yang diagram, a burst of light with no color erupted. But it contained the feeling of Ji realm. At the same time, Wang Lin's body also rotated. All the divine retributions in his body mirrored the ones outside and rotated. At the center of the yin and yang diagram, the Ji realm was born. The moment the Ji realm was born, Wang Lin's body stopped collapsing and his origin soul stopped dissipating. Everything stopped and Wang Lin opened his eyes. The moment his eyes opened, red lightning started flashing in his eyes. This red lightning that represented the Ji realm hadn't appeared in Wang Lin's eyes in over 1,000 years. His white hair moved without any wind and a red light came from the roots of his hair. In just an instant, Wang Lin's white hair turned unexpectedly red. This red was blood red. The red light in his eyes became even more intense, and a monstrous killing intent spread out. The Ji realm descended. With great sacrifice and with the determination to die, he faced the infinite divine retribution. After his body absorbed all the retributions, a sliver of Ji realm was born. Wang Lin had finally regained the Ji realm he had lost so long ago. Just at this instant, the Ji realm formed by the 9 palaces to 2 rights in the void turned into red lightning and shot straight at Wang Lin. The moment it arrived, Wang Lin let out a laugh and red lightning shot out of his eyes and landed in his right hand. Then his right hand grabbed the G realm from the divine retribution. The moment the destructive aura entered Wang Lin's body, he leaned against the sealed realm formation. He used his body, which was extremely familiar with the G realm, as a medium to transfer the power of the G realm onto the sealed realm formation. The formation rumbled and the treasured spirits appeared to counterattack. At this moment, a large amount of green threads appeared and entrangled them, preventing the treasured spirits from appearing. The G realm from the divine retribution went through Wang Lin's body and entered the formation like crazy. As Wang Lin's body was pushed back, the formation was like a net that was being elongated by Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes released red lightning and then his right hand smashed into the sealed realm formation. The G realm that was born inside his body left and shot at the formation. This attack contained two G realms. The divine retribution's G realm and Wang Lin's G realm combined to form an unimaginable impact. At this moment, the amount of green threads inside the sealed realm formation increased. They spread out like ripples and caused a large-scale destruction of the sealed realm formation. Thunderous rumbles continued to echo. In just an instant, the net-like formation that had been elongated showed signs of collapse. A small opening was created. The moment the gap was created, screams came from the formation. The heaven-splitting axe that Tuor Sen recognized that belonged to his ancestors appeared. The moment it appeared, the green threads on the formation suddenly collapsed and began resisting the axe. "Why are you not leaving? What are you waiting for?" The Lord of the Sealed Realm's ancient voice echoed from the formation. The moment his voice echoed, the gap in the formation ripped open even more, revealing a hole big enough for a person to pass through. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to shrink down to the size of a normal person from his ancient god body. His right hand grabbed Li Qianmai and then he charged out of the gap. What appeared before him was a foreign space, the ancient star system. There were also a few hundred foreign cultivators wearing strange clothes looking at him with dumbfounded expressions. These cultivators were people of the ancient celestial realm. However, the moment he charged out, the giant ancient god axe entangled by the green threads broke free. It mercilessly chopped down on Wang Lin. With this chop, a heaven-splitting ray of axe energy shot toward Wang Lin and instantly arrived. Wang Lin's expression was ferocious as roared at the ray of axe energy. "You're a weapon of the ancient gods, yet you dare to attack your master." The moment the axe energy closed in, it trembled as if it was struggling. However, in the end, it still flashed by and penetrated Wang Lin's chest. Blood sprayed everywhere and a giant gash appeared on Wang Lin's chest. His face turned pale and he coughed out blood. He was already seriously injured by the divine retribution, and now he was hit by the axe, making his injuries worse. His origin soul had collapsed and even his body wasn't recovering due to the ancient god aura within the axe. Blood continued to flow out, and Wang Lin's organs began to break. His vision became blurry, but he stared at the sealed realm formation as he staggered backwards. At this moment, the gap Wang Lin charged out of rapidly healed until it was flawless once more. However, the green threads charged at the gap like crazy and seemed to take root. As for the giant axe, it floated in the formation, pointing at Wang Lin as if there was a spirit inside it watching Wang Lin. After a long time, the giant axe gradually dissipated into the formation. While Wang Lin was forced to stagger back and he was about to pass out, the ancient star system cultivators were awakened from their shock. They looked at Wang Lin with pure killing intent. The slaughter between the outer and inner realms had no reason. It could be said to be the slaughter between two different races, and only one could survive. Kill him. He charged out of the inner realm and is already seriously injured. Kill this person and send him to the clan, there will surely be rewards. He has already been injured by the formation spirit and is about to die. Kill. The people of the ancient star system were filled with monstrous killing intent. Their eyes were merciless and cruel as they charged at Wang Lin. These outer realm cultivators all had varying cultivation levels. The lowest was Nirvana Cleanser, and the highest was Peak Nirvana Shatterer. Hundreds of cultivators closed in. "You're all courting death." Wang Lin was very weak and was seriously injured, but his eyes were cold. This was the outer realm, a place he had never been to before. This was the place his sealed realm ancestors all wanted to enter from what he saw in the seven-colored realm. There will be a day when a future generation of cultivators will break this formation and cause all you outsiders to become extinct. Rivers of blood will flow in your outer realm. The roar of that celestial clearly echoed inside Wang Lin's ears, and his eyes became colder and colder. He looked at the foreign star system before him and the fading sealed realm formation behind him. One realm apart was a lifetime for many people. The outer realm cultivators closed in an instant. Their ferocious expressions and eyes filled with killing intent clearly entered Wang Lin's vision. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his left hand formed a seal before pointing to his chest several times. He calmly said, "Celestial realm. Devour the body and soul, heaven extinction spell." Back when Qing Shui appeared in the Thunder Celestial realm, he went on a mad killing spree. The origin souls of all the cultivators he had killed were devoured, and their flesh and blood had been absorbed to become nutrients for Qing Shui to recover. This cruel spell was terrifying, and it was created by Qing Shui. In his whole life, he had only taught it to Wang Lin and no one else. In this whole world, in the inner or outer realm, only Wang Lin and Qing Shui knew this celestial spell. What kind of celestial spell was this? It was clearly an extremely demonic spell. This was the first time Wang Lin had used it, and his body rapidly withered until he was like a skeleton. A frenzied aura came from his body, and even the scar on his chest unexpectedly moved so no more blood flowed out. The moment the outer realm cultivators arrived, a devilish laugh echoed. Wang Lin stepped forward and turned into black fog before charging into the outer realm cultivators. An earth-shattering scream filled with indescribable fear echoed. The expressions of all the surrounding cultivators changed when they heard this. The black fog merged with the world and disappeared, leaving behind the cultivator that was caught. That cultivator was now only a bag of bones and his eyes were crazy. There was still monstrous fear on his face, and his body was completely drained. His body collapsed and dissipated. The nightmare had just started for the outer realm cultivators guarding the sealed realm formation. Wang Lin, who had now entered the outer realm and could use spatial bending and this celestial devouring spell, was their biggest nightmare. Black fog suddenly appeared behind an outer realm nirvana cleanser cultivator. He didn't have time to turn around before he felt pain on his back. The black fog charged into his body and his body expanded like crazy as he screamed frantically. In just a moment, his body exploded. Blood spattered everywhere. The nightmare had begun. This video will end here.